Hey guys! So today we are going to be talking about our digestive system and its link to how we can increase our energy. So by firing up our digestive system, it may be the missing piece that you are missing in increasing your energy. If you've ticked the boxes of like eating food to energize you, moving in a way that provides you with energy, then maybe you need to start looking at some of the other body systems. I personally think that the GIT, digestive system, gastrointestinal tract, however you want to say it, is one of the most crucial. If this is not functioning optimally, neither can any of our other body systems really. All of our nutrients are first processed by our GIT. It is connected to how we feel, how we function, how much fat we burn, our energy levels of course, but also the appearance of our skin and even our mood. When you have a GIT system that is working at its best, it's like building its house on really strong foundations. Now, digestive problems can actually affect up to 1 in 5 people, so it's very common. With the growing amount of products on the market to help with our digestion, it's actually pretty easy to see how large the problem is. Now, if this is a body system that gives you grief, it could be regular bloating, could be bouts of diarrhea or constipation, or maybe you get all three, and you feel like this is just normal for you, well, it doesn't have to be this way. It actually isn't normal. And it's also a great place to start having a look at if you are actually low on energy. Now, very quickly, our GIT is a very big long tube. Basically, it starts at our mouths and it finishes at our bottoms. There are obviously a few organs along the way that are attached to this massive big long tube that helps assist with our digestion. These are things like our liver, our gallbladder, and the pancreas. Now, the role of digestion is to break down the food we eat and extract all the nutrients and expelling all the stuff that we don't need. Like many of our body systems, digestion just basically happens. We're not even really aware of it. Our body is pretty clever. Even though we aren't aware of what is occurring in our body, we can definitely help and support it so it can be as efficient as it can be. So how can we support our digestive system? First step is chewing our food, not inhaling it. I know it sounds really obvious, but so many of us are not nailing this vital first step, me included. We have teeth in our mouths. It's the only place that we have teeth. Nowhere else along our digestive system are there teeth to break down our food. So that's basically where we need to start. I want you to think of our food as like a long chain. So like basically how a chain has all different links. That is what our food ultimately looks like chemically. So chewing our food actually helps break this chain into smaller sections. We so often eat in such a hurry. We're excited about the flavour of the food, we're not paying any attention, maybe we're scrolling on our phones, but basically we're kind of not even chewing our food more than a few times before down it goes. Some of it's chewed, some of it's not chewed at all. So basically our stomach gets this food that's not properly all chewed up, and how is it meant to cope, especially if we're doing this meal after meal, day after day? Chewing also sends messages to our brain to let our stomach know that food's on its way. So if we're inhaling our food, our stomach doesn't actually get that message. Then it finds it difficult to operate when the food does come in. So not only is it not operating properly, but we probably are sending chunks of food down that are too big. So if you are a food inhaler, please slow down. Chew your food. I know it sounds really simple, but sometimes the simple things are often the hardest. You could count the number of times that you chew your food. I would start with like sort of 20 to 30 chews if you can. Don't put another forkful in until you finish the first one. So simple tips like that can just make the biggest difference to how the rest of your digestion works. So next we need to make sure that when our food hits our stomach, that our stomach acid is firing. And I literally mean firing. We want our stomach to be extremely acidic. So chewing our food obviously helps the production of this acid, and it basically helps break down more of that chain. So chewing obviously helps break down some of it, but yeah, the stomach acid will continue to help break that chain down. So it's kind of like a it chemically kind of chops it up, if that makes sense. It allows us to extract like our B vitamins, which we did speak about before, and also a fatty acid and a glucose, which is definitely needed for energy. It also helps kill any potential pathogens that make it into our food. So if we're eating something that's not so good, our stomach acid will literally burn it up. There are a few signs that you may not have a fiery stomach acid. You may become bloated after eating, you may suffer with reflux, indigestion, or even both. Now, if any of these have become sort of a chronic problem for you, please seek the help of a health practitioner or drop me a line. You may need some further help in this area. Now, to help stimulate the production of stomach acid, lemon juice or apple cider vinegar both work really well. Now, if you haven't consumed either of these before, please start gradually. You can basically mix a teaspoon in a little bit of water, room temperature, basically to your taste, so how much that you can handle. And you gradually increase the amount that you're having. So with apple cider vinegar, you would go to a tablespoon. With lemon juice, you'd go from maybe half a lemon to a full lemon. And you want to do this about 5 to 20 minutes before eating. Breakfast is a great place to start because it wakes your digestion up. But ideally, if you can do this throughout the day, it would be beneficial to help stimulating your stomach acid. Next up, we have our pancreas. It releases something called sodium bicarbonate. Now, this helps protect our small intestine from that acidic food that comes out of our stomach. It also releases other enzymes which continue to help break down all those links in our food chain. So our digestive system basically runs off signals. So one organ will do its thing and it sends a signal to the next one and the next one. So basically, the chewing of the food, having a fiery stomach acid, really allows the pancreas to do its job, which is why we really need to focus on the beginning to make sure that the rest of the digestive system is working properly. Now, to further highlight why we need each section of our digestive system to be working optimally, I want to touch on how our food is absorbed. So the job of digestive enzymes and other enzymes that are made by our small intestines is basically to break down the final links in that chain, so that basically all the individual components and nutrients can pass through the walls of our small intestine into our blood and out into our body to use. Now, ideally, by now when it gets in the small intestines, the links in our chain of food should be about 2 to 4 links long, so not very big. However, if we didn't chew our food properly, those links in the chain, probably links of food, were into our stomach that were longer than ideal, which means that our stomach acid couldn't break them down into that 2 or 4 links. They probably come out of our stomach at around 7 or 10 links long. So even if our digestive enzymes break up a few more links, they still aren't small enough to pass into our blood. Therefore, we are missing out on vital nutrients. And this is where you can be having the best diet in the world, but if you are not nailing the digestion part and the extraction of the nutrients, you are not going to be getting what you need to keep you energized. This carries on down into our large intestines where our gut bacteria lives. These little guys feed on any of the food that's left over after all the nutrients have been absorbed, and they love fragments of food that are 1 or 2 links long. They basically can use these to feed on and also help us with other health strategies for us. But if the fragments haven't been broken down effectively in the earlier stages of our digestion, we might be left with fragments that go into our large intestine, say, 5 or 6 links long. And guess what our bacteria does to them? It ferments them. And the result of fermenting? Gas. Yep, this gas can be quite irritable to our gut, leaving us feeling bloated, uncomfortable. It also irritates the lining of our gut. So remember, also inflammation directly directs resources away from our energy to help deal with that inflammation. So not only are we kind of not getting the nutrients that we need, we're also directing any nutrients we do get to help fighting the inflammation that this gas produces. Finally, we end up with our stools. As a nutritionist, your stools coupled with other symptoms tell us a lot about what is happening throughout your whole digestive tract. This gives us an idea of where to start to help improve your digestion and your energy. So if your stools are too runny, you might feel a sense of urgency, or maybe you're passing stools over 3 times a day. This could be the result of food moving way too quickly through your digestive tract. If it's going through too quickly, your body's not going to get the nutrients that it needs. It could also be suggestive that you have quite an irritated digestive tract and probably needs looking at. Now, if your stools are the other way and you're hard, or you have a feeling of not completely evacuating when you go to the toilet, or you aren't going every day without a little help, so it could be laxative or even coffee to make you go, this could be the result of a sluggish digestion. So the cause of this could be anything from lack of digestive enzymes, could be magnesium deficiency, could be lack of fiber or water. But basically, our food is moving too slowly through the digestive tract, and it can basically lead to that fermenting that we talked about before. So addressing the causes that are preventing you from having an enjoyable time on the loo or causing you any kind of digestive discomfort can not only change your energy, but the way you experience life, your health, and your waistline. So please, if any of this resonated with you, start really simply. Sometimes just basic thing of chewing your food could be enough to help you give back the energy that you need. In our next video, we are going to be talking stress. This one I would say would apply to almost everybody, because at this day and age, we are unfortunately all dealing with a little bit of stress in our lives. So I hope you will tune in for that one. Until next time, have a great day.